Hey everyone, Corrie here, coming in to do the energy update for this full moon on December the 26th, 2023. We're coming down to the end. I really want to say 2024. I feel like I'm a little bit ahead of myself, but we are still in 2023, so let's stay in the present moment. This full moon is in Cancer. Cancer can be um, mothering energy. This is also a very intuitive, this is also a very intuitive sign. Cancers are those born under the Cancer zodiac sign really truly are very intuitive, and I mean gut intuitive. They just instinctually know what to do. Their mother instincts are through the roof. So if you ever think you can pull the wool over the eyes of your mother, no, you can't. If you ever think you're smarter than your mother, no, you're not. I'm joking. But it is so much of it's so much, those intuitive instincts that is with this moon, and really truly going with your gut, going with that instinct and just trusting that. If you're really feeling like, yesterday, the day before, coming into the next few days, if you're really feeling like, I don't really feel like I want to do that, or I really feel this urge to do this, do the things you're feeling the urge to do. And pay attention to where the urge is coming from, though. If it feels like it's from just survival mode and it's fear-based, then you probably want to really truly think about it. But if it's inspiration, if you just get this nagging feeling over and over, like, I really feel like I need to go visit these people. I really feel like I need to do this. I really feel like I need to just go put my skates on and go for a skate. I just feel like, and so that I feel like, that's what that moon is. And when it's like, I just feel like this is happening. I feel like this is my truth. I feel like this is what's happening in my life. I feel it. I feel it. I feel it. Cancers are feelers. They're very emotional. One of my best friends is a Cancer. And I'm like, and she responds emotionally to everything. She wears her heart on the sleeve. I have an emotional moon. I'm very emotional in a different way. So I'm very emotional in the way that, I get kind of, distraught. So I get frustrated is my not true self. So when I really want something to go really well and it's not going well and I want to give my all and I feel like I'm being disappointed, I actually get angry. I get frustrated. And anger is the way that I express it. And it's not, and that is my not true self. It means I am not in alignment to my truth. I'm either pushing too hard, trying too hard, or I'm not expressing what I need to say, or others are not listening to what it is that I'm really truly saying. And a huge part of my design, and I have a Cancer moon, so I can say this, is that, when I know that I can truly help somebody, but then nobody wants to listen, that used to be the most frustrating time in my life. And I found myself, I used to get bitter. I used to get angry and be like, F that, I'm not helping nobody else anymore. I'm so done, blah, 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 until the next time. And I would act, and then I would just go do it. But when I started to know that about myself, I recognized that then that meant I was walking a path that really wasn't my truth. And I really needed to explore those words that I was saying to myself, or those thoughts that I was believing to be true, and ask myself some questions. Is that, people who want your help will come ask for your help. People who need you will reach out to you, whatever that may be. Just because you maybe you can help, it doesn't mean it's your turn. It's not your job. Somebody else may be there for them today, whatever that may be. But the difference in that was the ability to adult myself, to be able to adult myself into not allowing myself to spin a story, to create a narrative that wasn't true, and to really truly recognize when I wasn't being myself. Now this moon brings that energy and focus, that brings it totally up for you right now. It's all over the place. It is speaking to you, it is with you, and I can't wait to get this damn cameras fixed. But it's really truly communicating something to you right now. It's speaking volumes that, emotions arise for a reason. And sometimes it's not that you got to look at what somebody else is doing. Sometimes you have to look at how you're reacting, how you're responding to the world, what you got going on within yourself, right? And it's a mother, it's, letting ourselves mother ourselves, father ourselves, whatever it may be the parent that we need, that we thought we needed, wherever that may be, whatever your story is, just be that to yourself right now. And really, truly, not so much of nurturing the bad behavior, the shitty attitudes, none of those things, but to nurture truth. This moon does speak truth. We're in a retro and we're in a Mercury retrograde. It is forcing us to see our shadow. It is bringing to light the shadow. So the full moon does shine a light. It's like people say, well, the moon makes people go crazy. No, the moon doesn't make people go crazy. The tides go in and out with the moons. So, there is a shift that is happening, but it's what gets emphasized. So there's like a highlighting energy that highlights the most kind of unhealthiest version of ourselves, the areas where we need to put our focus into our own healing. Pay it, to really truly bring back around something that we have not completed, because it's about cycles, and cycles are about beginnings and endings. And so the moon gives us an opportunity. The moon is also very much tied to the mother energy all the way around. The moon itself is tied to the divine feminine energy. And so it gives us a chance to let something die, to give birth to something new, to bring fully into light. It's a time of endings, because then a whole new cycle is beginning. And then when we get the new moon, we set that intention. So this moon is speaking to you today. This moon is speaking to you over the next few days. You also have a retrograde that is happening. There's, you may have to give yourself your own little kick in the ass to get something done. But sometimes you need to do things. Sometimes things need to get done. And some of the things that need to get done are more on a non-visible realm. They are more emotional based. They are more based in feelings. They're the things we can't see. So it's easier to hide it until something triggers it and attitude appears. And when attitude appears, it's not so easy to hide the ugly. But we have to sometimes face our ugly. We have to step into our darkness. We have to acknowledge that within ourselves of where do I, how am I a contributing role in my own life? And so this moon has a contentious kind of energy to it, where it literally could be, you can be happy 1 minute and then one little word, one little trigger. It's like, how come that's triggering me right now? Why am I feeling this right now? You're feeling it right now because it's really real. It's really real for you. And if you ignore it one more time, then the next time it's going to be like a bigger explosion than before. It's going to be the full volcano. It's like, you got to pay attention to the things that are arising now, because every time they arise again and they get close to the surface, there just comes a time of where it's a full explosion. You know how you're just like, oh, I just get so tired of just telling, let's say kids. We get so tired of just telling the kids to hang your coats up, hang your coats up. Could you please hang your coats up? There's the hanger. Hang your coat up, hang your coat up, until there's this final moment where you go, hang up your heaven jackets. And you just like lose yourself and you lose your shit. And even though you feel bad, there's a bit of a relief. It's because the pressure is now gone. What was built up was all of that energy, all of the thoughts that you had been continually saying. And what really was going on was a sense of maybe being disrespected, not being listened to, no one really hearing what you had to say. What is the deeper story to why it was so bothersome? Right. And it's not about the jacket or being on the hanger. It's about the fact that maybe you spoke and nobody listened to what you were saying, that you felt like you were just invisible, like you're being, disrespected. That's probably the greatest word that I can add to this, that, you were asking for something and it wasn't being heard. It wasn't being received. There was no follow through to it. And it wasn't something that was hard for someone to do. Is they're making a choice not to do it. Now, why do they make a choice not to do it? Because in the end, how many times did you go back and you were the one to put the coats upon the hanger? Because you would be hot air. You would say, do it, do it, do it, but you always do it, right? And so because you always step up and you do it, then that reaction after is, I'm always the one to do this. You've given yourself permission to have every one of those stories. so that you can be the victim to your own stories, but then also you hit that point of you become that absolute volcano, you become that eruption, and then you just lose your shit, and then you become the crazy one, right? And only when you become the crazy one do you actually feel better, because you actually got it out. Is not they probably never listened, they may not have changed a thing. What changed was you, right? Because now it is all up and out. You have let it out, but it'll go back in again. It'll all fill back up again if there is not a permanent change that takes place, and that is dealing with the real truth behind what was really happening in those experiences. That's just an example, but that's what that moon gives to us. This moon is here to show us that. And it's to just say, if I were to be truly trusting my gut in all situations in my life, what would I be doing? I'd be commanding a room. We teach people how to treat us, right? And so sometimes you might have to leave those coats on the floor. But as for intuition, your spidey senses are probably tingling right now. There's a lot of ascension that's happening. This is like the final countdown, or a final piece of the puzzle to a full ascension. If you've been on a healing journey this year, then this would be one of those moments of where we're in like a full ascension into 2024. You may have those final little pieces that are leaving, so that, and new parts of self are developing. So I think I have a little bit of a love with this moon. I do feel my body in this moon a lot. Like I really feel the pains in my body. I feel all of those things that are happening within my body. And so I know they're showing me that I've been kind of pushing it too much in December, and that I would have to care for my body. So I've been spending time with the body. Spirit is strong, mind is strong, body is not. So maybe it's about, really truly sitting with spirit. Sometimes it's about sitting and creating that sense of making peace with the past by really truly, getting honest with your thoughts, looking in at the thoughts in a different way. It's also a moon that does speak of, nurturing kindness, nurturing the compassion, nurturing love, nurturing, all of the good things. We have to nurture those things to make them grow. And by eradicating our anger stories, by transmuting our anger to love, is that we can face our anger. We can look in at the anger and see the anger and be honest about the anger, and cultivate love in those experiences, cultivate self-love in those experiences, cultivate that radical self-care by truly acknowledging the anger and the angry version, and what she or he was angry about. Now, I did pull peaceful perspective Paisley. And so the moon will always let us know when we're holding on to the past, the old story, we're believing an old narrative that we have. Often Christmas, those seasons bring that stuff up around us. And so she is a 6, mind, body, soul connection, ties into the double element of 3, but it also brings in peace. But 6 is also about having to make that step. So this is a great time for, letting go, releasing the old stories, because we're coming up into the New Year's. And so we're coming up to a new cycle, a new beginning in our human calendar year. And so in that experience, I'm seeing I keep seeing it like a shooting star, or like a shooting star. That's what it's like. I just see like stars are dying, things are dying, and stars really are dying. There's been several in the past few weeks, and I knew there was going to be, but there's just like this, like stars are dying. And we have, and there's a lot of little things that we have to let leave us and let die, bringing us into benevolence, which is Mary, the beautiful Mary has been here with us for, this whole coming into all of December. We have the Magi, we have, because of course it brings in the birth of Jesus. Like we have all of this magical energy that's been following us through. Now, this beautiful card does speak about the vulnerability and being honest and real with ourselves and just asking ourselves sometimes, do I have a little bit of envy? Am I envious of somebody else instead of being inspired by somebody else? Is it the fact that there's, am I really truly happy for others? Or have I been worked, or have I been resentful? Have I been very like peeved off? Have I not been the nicest? When we look at Paisley, Paisley speaks of peaceful perspective. Have I really been truly looking at life with peace in a peaceful way? Have I been making peace with the past? Or have I just been hashing stuff up and then just getting angry and then just bearing it back down? Have I been regurgitating it and swallowing it again? Look, right? And like, have I been doing that over and over again? Or have I truly let that go? Have I truly worked through this? How will I know? It's in how you communicate, is in how you even speak of others. If you go walk around and you're always whining and complaining, then you truly not look at everyone else. You need to look at you, because it is something deeper within self. Because when you're not true self, when you're walking around complaining is it's that it is a complexity, is that trauma response, or it is the response that we have of when we feel like something is not going our way or somebody's not listening to us. We're really caught in an old way of being. And in that old way of being is that now you're spinning the webs of old stories and old narratives, and you're believing that energy to be true. But is it really the truth? Because it's not your past experiences, because your past experiences are dead. They're not here no more. They're not alive. You are here. And because you are here, you have truths that are here, sitting in that truth, looking at it. And so benevolence does mean that benevolence is being that super, divinely holy kind of kind to ourselves, to others, where we would not, like, honestly would not judge. When someone says, oh, I'm just such a good person, I do this every day, I do that every day, and I would never speak about another, I would never say anything unkind, I would never. I'm like, never? Really? Can you honestly say you have never? You're, it's like, oh, everyone around me does and I just don't like it, so because they do it and I don't like it, I don't do it. Well, there's your little stamp, there's the little signal right there. Everyone else does it and I don't like it, so I don't do it. That's like the little tattletale in the playground. Same type of energy. Would you like a hero biscuit for that? Right? This is, and so when we're complaining about this person and that person, they do this and they do that, and I do the best job, and there's no one, it's like what you're saying is that you can't see, it's impossible to see you when you're so busy looking at somebody else. So when you can see everything else that's being done wrong and everything else that's going wrong, it is almost impossible to see you. Sometimes we're snippier than we want to be. Sometimes we say not so nice things. Sometimes we can be an irritation. Sometimes we can be annoying. Sometimes we can be all of that. Sometimes we're complaining because we're so used to it that we don't even know we're doing it. Sometimes we're grumpy and we don't even know we're being grumpy. All of that can be happening because it all exists within us. Sometimes we're teasing and it's not really funny. It has, someone else finds it hurtful, or there's some condescending energy within it. There's just so many little bugs in our systems. There's so many little areas within us that are just saying it's now to really, truly debug this, to dismantle that story even further, so that we can bring ourselves into that sense of understanding benevolence on a deeper level. You don't know benevolence, go search it, go look it up, go Google it. And so it is beautiful to be able to be inspired by somebody, but to be envious, to be jealous, to be angry that other people are certain places that you are not, to believe that desperation story is, I'm It's always me. I'm always without, always this is happening, always that's happening. Well, what are you going to do about it? What are you doing about it? And this moon is kind of not letting us away with a lot of things. It's kind of calling us up and out. It's preparing us for something bigger. It is wants to launch us. But as long as we are hooked up to the past, it's hard to get launched. It's hard to get launched into that future because the future, as I always say, will look just like your past if it continues. So if every single place you ever show up to be friends with people, to take a job, to be in relationship, and every time it turns out to be the same, you have to look at self and why do I place myself in these positions? Why is this always my continual story? And who am I in these situations? And what is it that I am contributing to my own misery right here? So, you know, in all truth, when we create this card, is she's looking and she's inspired by another. She's celebrating others. She's so cheerful. She's on her own journey. She's already making it. She's made it. She's doing whatever she's supposed to do. She's over here. She knows she has to walk her journey. She's inspired by the fact that obviously this one did something right. Sometimes we just got to do the one thing right. Sometimes we have to see the one thing right that somebody else is doing. And if we focus on the one thing right, all the rest of the things that are annoying will dissipate. And it's not that their habits change, it's that we change us. We change within ourselves. We shift the energy. We change the energy around us, within us. And so the change begins within. And this moon is bringing that change within. We have purity because we got to let this moon is about these endings so we can end habits and behaviors because here we have a ground zero. So, this period of time between now, New Year's Eve, this is like a ground zero. We're in like a ground zero where, everything has Christmas has ended. That part of the season is over, but we got this space and what we do with this space, what we do with this energy. And so this is where we sit in with our new dreams, our new thoughts, our new attitudes, our new thoughts. And we really truly just say, what is it? What is it I really would love to cultivate moving forward? What within myself? What emotion would I love to be able to just seek out? Bring my spidey senses to it. Let it discover all things that are filled with bliss, enthusiasm, excitement, whatever it may be, and let ourselves just find that, discover that, because we are in a new birth stage. We've already given birth to so many beautiful things and so many beautiful thoughts and so many beautiful words, but we got to let some things also go. We don't have enough space. So this energy can make you feel very tired, exhausted, like Sid back here who's yawning. You may be feeling this. You may be also wanting to just keep eating all the yucky stuff. You may be going towards the sugars, the chips, like the salt. You may find yourself reaching for those because you're trying to ground yourself, it feels like, just trying to get rooted. And sometimes we give ourselves permission long after the time of when our permission has now run out. So it's like, I only wish I could do this. I only wish I could be like if I could go to the gym like them. I could only wish I had that willpower. Well, as long as you spend a lifetime only wishing, how do you ever get to achieving that? You have to activate that within you. I'm going to really truly step into the thought process of being someone who has, because I'm obviously have been her before, someone who has been very determined, somebody who has a strong commitment. I'm going to be her. Someone who finds joy and happiness in her day, no matter what else is happening. I'm going to choose to be her. And I'm going to just ask, teach me how to be this version of myself. That's the version that I want to be, because on that version, by being that version, I got a good chance of getting into my happier self, my happier life. And so we do have the sense of, moving beyond. There's a lot of conflict energy here. We in a lot of conflict energy. 2024 is going to give us even more conflict energy. So to be at peace with self allows us to be at peace as the world does go through its major transitions. being able to shift this energy now will be able to help to, keep your feet on the ground, your thoughts in spirit, believing in the impossible, believing in the miracles, believing in the changes, believing in love, believing in light, and just believing, holding on to that faith. So I did pull a couple cards from the Palladian cards. I don't know if I even got the box here for them. So this is Palladian Wisdom. I love this deck. And this card is 10, conflict. Always be open to viewpoints of others to lessen or eliminate the conflict, right? Sometimes we don't realize that all somebody else needs. Sometimes we got to use our gut and just say, you know what, maybe all somebody needs is to be heard. All somebody needs is to be understood. What was, maybe that's what I always wanted in my life, and I wanted it from everyone else. And now that I've found it within myself, maybe somebody else needs that. And maybe I need to be that person today. Maybe I need to turn that mirror around and ask myself why I'm so bothered by somebody else's behavior and actions when I made mine so acceptable for so very long. Think about that. Evolution, healing. And this is a 7, and this is a 10. So we're coming, so this is where endings are taking place. And so the 7 is always where we kind of meet ourselves at that point of where we had the opportunity to go forward, got the opportunity to go backwards. But this is a time of evolution, it's time of growth. And so quiet yourself and listen to that inner voice. The answers are always within your heart. So what it is which you seek the most has always been seeking you. If you stop running, you stop chatting, you stop the chaos in your mind, you stop just being outside of yourself and just get in, just come into self and just listen to what's not being said. Just give yourself the opportunity to just be silent and hear the whispers, because this is where our higher consciousness connects. I didn't read the card. Use your higher consciousness to continually make every choice for the highest good of all. Is this serving the highest good? Is this serving my shadow? Is this serving my hungry ghost? Is this serving my insecurities and my fear? Or is this serving my highest good and my happiest of futures? Which one is it serving? And just ask yourself those questions. Be in connection with this. It's just a new level of consciousness, a new way of thinking, and allowing yourself to be committed to that way of thinking, and everything else will also unfold. Many blessings with this full moon that we're in right now in this beautiful Cancer energy, because it does also have, it can hold you, it can win your fights for you, it can win your battles, it can do so many great things. It can also be your greatest inspiration. So let yourself be inspired by this moon energy on December the 26th, 2023. I send you so much love, and I will be speaking to you very soon again. Much love. Bye-bye.